Good evening from Purchase Broadcast Studios. I'm your host, Lauren Hagan. On tonight's edition of Purchase Alumni, Where Are They Now?, you will meet an alumni whose hard work, quiet determination, and intelligence has guided her from Purchase College onward and is presently a librarian at the Pelham Public Library. Erin Maloney, Purchase Class of 2021, has been described by friends and family with admiration as a bookworm, although Erin would rather be known as a book dragon. Her love of books and writing has always been a driving force for her, and it is what brought her to Purchase as an undergrad. So, Erin, thank you for joining us today on the set for Purchase Alumni. Where are they now?
Yes, thank you for having me. It's always great to be back on campus.
So, with so many colleges and so many majors to choose from, what was it about Purchase College that really drew you to come here?
So I always knew I wanted to go to a college that was close to home. I lived just about 15-20 minutes away, and so when I looked at a lot of the local schools in the area, not many of them had creative writing as a specific major. Either it was concentration or they just had, a plain English major, and I knew that wasn't really what I was looking for because I wanted to take the opportunity to really hone that craft, and so Purchase just presented the perfect opportunity to have that best of both worlds at being close to home and also being able to do what I love every single day.
Do you find yourself writing all the time?
Oh yes, basically every day, because every project that I had to work on was some sort of story, whether it was a short story or a longer story. Also, lots of time was spent reading other people's work, which was really fun because it's always nice to see how other people write in their style. And even my senior project, I wrote a novella, and that was a really big achievement. To do something that had a beginning, middle, and end in such a short form. It was a challenge, but I really enjoyed it.
So when you were here on this campus, where was your favorite place?
My favorite place was definitely the library. I did a lot of writing in the library, and even just hanging out. I tended to stick to the silent section because when I knew I wanted to write, I wanted no one to bother me. So it was just the best place to go and get my laptop out, stick headphones on, open up the Word document, and just go. And I did that a lot.
Did you find yourself spending most of your time there?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Was there any, besides the silent section, how else was the library helpful to you?
Lots of help with doing research projects. I know the librarians would do presentations to certain classes if we had a big research project and tell us where all the resources were and how to access them and how to print stuff. It was very helpful, and I used it a lot. I'm still working on finishing a debut novel, which now, as a graduate with a job, it's hard to find time, but I'm working on it, so hopefully one day.
Is there any specific genre you tend to lean towards when you're writing?
I really like fantasy, so castles and princesses and dragons and magic are my vibe, and it's something that I have always enjoyed, and I think I write it very well. I took up a clerk position at the Pelham Library, and that's kind of how my growth path there has started. And so I went from being a clerk to being a substitute librarian shortly after I graduated, and now I'm the children's librarian.
So while working and doing your master's, did you find that difficult? Did you have challenges while you were doing that?
Definitely a little bit challenging, especially on the semesters when I took a little more classes than I maybe expected to or probably should have. But everyone that I worked with was really supportive and flexible when I maybe needed more time to work on a project or something.
Was the overall goal to work with the children's section in the library, or did you just find yourself there? How did you end up in that section of the library?
A little bit of both. So I always kind of knew I wanted to work with young people because when I was younger, the librarians in my life had a really big impact on me, and so I wanted to be that person for somebody else. And I ended up just getting very lucky at the library I'm at now. Our older children's librarian resigned, and so I was approached to take up the position, and I accepted.
Do you find that since when you're writing you tend to lean towards fantasy, that working with children either helps you or you find that showing them fantasy helps you in your work?
I think so. It's definitely one of the first things I'll recommend to maybe a reluctant reader who doesn't know what they like and says they don't like reading, and I'll be like, well, you haven't tried this, and it's something that's not boring, and I think it gets them into it, which is great.
So clearly you took all the necessary steps to get to the position you're in today. Do you still see yourself at the library in 5 years? Do you see yourself in other places, other goals and aspirations?
I could definitely see myself at the library for another 5 years, but I'm always open to other opportunities if they present themselves, but I'm happy where I am.
So, as you said, you're happy. Do you find yourself happy with the choices that you've made? Is there anything that you would change? Would you change where you are now?
Not for the time being. I think when I get older, maybe I want to explore other places, but I think right now I'm good and settled where I am.
Well, Erin, thank you for joining us here today at Purchase Broadcast Studios and sharing the path that you've taken. All of us at Purchase College wish you success in your career and for the future. And thank you again for joining.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of Purchase Alumni, Where Are They Now? Please join us again for our next episode. I'm Lauren Hagan for Purchase Broadcast Studios. Have a good evening.